What do we think of this angle? I like it. I like it. We're gonna use it. Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome. Wow. What? Can you see like the reflection of my glasses? God dang it. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. New scenery, right? I moved. College. Wow. Hi. Very happy to be here. You know, this will probably look different. I have some vines that I want to put up, but they won't come yet. It's kind of annoying. My window's reflecting my glasses and it's making me a little bit mad. Today, I'm going to be filming my January wrap-up, where I wrap up what I read in January. I don't know, it's self-explanatory. Let's get cozy here. So this was actually a very good month, I guess, for me reading wise. I have this goal so far of reading about 6 or 7 books a month, to be on average to read 80 books by the end of the year. And honestly, I'm not very much so tied to that goal anymore because I'm in college and like reading 6 books a month in addition to being an English major where I have, you know, mandatory readings. And I'm also a Spanish minor where there's mandatory readings. You know, I'm just not like priorities. Did accomplish it for this month, so that was, you know, oh sorry, that was a little bit of a victory, I suppose. So I did read 7 books, finished my last one last night, feeling good. Okay, so we're gonna go through it. I got my trusty reading journal here, January spread. Go ahead, check that out. I think it's right there. Yeah. Oh, first book I read was Cersei by Madeline Miller, and I gave that 4 stars. So Cersei is about I think she's a nymph named Cersei, and she is, you know, in Greek mythology, and basically this book is the retelling of the Trojan War from her perspective, and I really enjoyed this because I was a Greek mythology kid, Percy Jackson, all that stuff, and I could tell from a young age, but I don't think I could put the words to it, that it was misogynistic. Just didn't know what that meant when I was 9. And so, like, seeing it not only from a female perspective, not a lot, I don't know, I could probably write an essay about it, but I just really thought it was cool to see it from a female perspective and her talking about her agency and other women's agency and what it meant to be a wife and a mother in these times and how the Trojan War was affecting women. Like, I really liked it. Yeah, and I would reread it. Madeline Miller, I love Madeline Miller. The Song of Achilles is also a good book of mine. I guess I could call it a favorite, yeah. I just really like the way she writes, and it's a comfortable story because I like the Trojan War, I like Greek mythology, and so these retellings are just, I don't know, they're really good. I really like her. Second book I read was, we're not going to talk about this very long. It was called Fuck Me Secretly by Odetta Stone. I needed a palette cleanser. It was not that great. I gave it 2 stars. It was free on Kindle. We're going to move on right now. Okay, no we're not. There's a plane crash. He's a hockey player. He's a bad boy. She's a good girl. Moving on. Third, I read Passing by Nella Larson. Wow. I've never read Nella Larson before. And I did not go into this knowing much about her. My aunt had recommended me this book a long time ago, and I bought it when I went to San Francisco and did those book shopping things. Go and watch that if you want. I heard a lot about it from my aunt, and so I wanted to read it because I want to read more books by Black women. And this book, I've heard that it was like psychological in a way, not like, you know, a thriller, but it makes you think about, you know, psychological stuff. I picked this up and it's very short, and I read it and it was crazy. So it's about this woman, 2 women. One is named Claire and one is named Irene. Well, they're both white passing, and so I think this takes place in like the 30s or the 40s. And so Irene is married to a Black man, Claire is married to a white man, and the white man that she's married to is super duper racist and does not know that she is Black. She has been living her whole life, or not her whole life, but her whole adult life as a white woman. And Irene has been living her life as a Black woman. And so you can kind of see where the roads diverge in American culture, I suppose, the way that they've lived their lives, because Irene's been living, you know, comfortably with her family in Harlem. The ending had me shook. The ending is up to interpretation. I think it's one of those like, what really happened kind of endings. And the whole thing makes you think a lot. It makes you think a lot about race relations, racism, race in general, like, because it's not real, you know, it's a social construct, so you talk about that a lot. Probably gonna have to read it again at some point, you know, as an English major, and I'm so willing to, because like I said, it's less than 150 pages, but it's pretty dense, I would say, and there's a lot of, I guess, metaphors and symbolism. And the ending, like, honestly, you could write a whole 10-page essay just about the last 5 pages. Like, it's nuts away. It's like, I gave Passing 5 stars, if I didn't say that, by the way. Fourth, I read Aroma, Juliet, Christmas by Chloe Gong. So I didn't really count this as a book, but Goodreads did, and so, you know, I'm one book closer to my goal, so whatever. So this is just a little, I guess, little story that Chloe posted on her website. Chloe Gong is the author of These Violent Delights, which I read last year. These Violent Delights is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and so that's why they're named Roma and Juliet. He's Russian, she's Chinese. Takes place in Shanghai in like the 20s. Little Christmas story. Yeah, I read it in January. Yeah, Christmas already passed. I don't care. I love that holiday. I gave Romeo and Juliet Christmas 5 stars because, okay, the story was cute. Yes, it's worthy of 5 stars. But I gave 5 stars more to the world building that she created, because I think that it is so talented and important when an author creates a character so well that I can imagine them in other scenarios that are outside the plot. Do you know what I mean? Like, they exist outside the plot. I can see them as a feasible, like, being. And so the story, like, was completely outside of the plot. It was a prequel of sorts, and so I was just like, wow, like, she just built them so well. Like, she gave them astrological signs. She, I think, said that they have Myers-Briggs types. Like, I just really like that. Fifth, I read One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. Okay, so this was a book that I was highly anticipating reading. It took me a while to get into it. I read it. It took me like 4 days to read it, which I wasn't expecting because it wasn't that long. And I ended up I gave it 3.5 stars, and I wrote because I just, like, the premise was very interesting, and then the execution wasn't bad per se, but wasn't like thrilling. The guy who died is like a blogger who exposes people, and everyone has a motive to kill him because they've all been exposed. And I don't know, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it was a bad book, it just wasn't the book for me, okay? And there's a sequel, but I've heard that it's all new characters, and I'm really not about to try to get to know 5 new characters, honestly. Who actually did it, the whodunit, was kind of predictable in a way. It wasn't like bad or anything, it just was predictable. Like, I kind of figured it out before they said it, and when they said it, I was like, yeah. 6, I read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Wow. It makes it look like it's so easy to become a favorite book of mine by how fast this became a favorite book of mine, but I promise I'm hard to please. No, I'm not. And so this book, I had no idea what it was about. I got it 7 months ago maybe, because I saw a YouTuber that I liked really recommended it, and wow, like, it's just so good. So I have no idea what it was about, because the blurb on the back and any blurb that you read on Goodreads or Wikipedia or whatever does not tell you what it's about. And so I knew it was about kids at a boarding school, but I didn't know anything beyond that. And that's how it should be, okay, for this book, because if you know why they're at that boarding school or why they are the way they are, it basically spoils the whole thing. And so, okay, how am I going to talk about this? So it's about this boarding school in England in the 90s, and the main character's name is Kathy, and she has these 2 friends named Ruth and Tommy. And basically, it's called Never Let Me Go. One, because she likes this song called Never Let Me Go, but it's about how they grow up and leave the school and go into life, and how they leave each other at some point and let each other go. And wow, like, okay, it's dystopian. I won't tell you why it's dystopian. Like, why it's dystopian is very weird to me, at least, or not. No, it's really not. The way that it's dystopian, like, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if the American government would do it. Like, it wasn't that far-fetched, and I was trying to think about what I would do in that situation, and it was just, oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I heard there's a movie with Keira Knightley and Carey Mulligan and Andrew Garfield, and I will be watching it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and the whole time I was in pain. I was in pain. It's not a happy read at all. It is very painful. It is very sad, but there's, like, beauty in the sadness. Like, does that make sense? I think it does. Ugh, I'm verklempt. The last book I read in the month of January. Oh, I actually have it here. I brought it to college. It is Happily Ever Afters by Elise Bryant. Can you see her? Can you see her? I want you to see her. I love this cover. Focus, 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 focus. There you go. Yay. So I gave this 4 stars, and I said it was my YN moment, because it was. This book is about Tessa, who is a 16-year-old writer who goes to this new school. She goes to this new school where you go to regular school and then you have an emphasis in a certain art, and so her emphasis is writing, and she loves to write romance. She loves to basically, like a lot of times she rewrites stories that she already knows with a black female character. I do that. She's so real, like she was so real, like the way she talks about her blackness and about like things like her hair and her complexion and stuff. It just felt very real, because a lot of times people who aren't black write characters who are black in a very, not necessarily stereotypical, but very 2D way. And Elise Bryant is a black woman, and so she uses those experiences, she uses herself to make it believable and make Tessa a real character, and so I just loved that. And there's disability rep. Tessa's brother has some disabilities, and it's treated as something that is, you know, something that affects his life but isn't his life, and I thought that was wonderful as well. Basically what the story is about, Tessa goes to this new school, right? And she basically hits a stump. She can't write anymore. She doesn't have any inspiration. And so she basically decides to choose violence and create a love triangle with the bad boy, broody boy in her class. And then she's got this goofy best friend that she starts to fall in love with, and I don't know, shenanigans ensue. But it's very cute, and I read it pretty fast. I just needed, you know, a palate cleanser. We talk about those a lot, but I just liked it a lot. I love black girls in YA. I love black girls in romance. I recommend this to anybody. I think it is very cute, and I think we should support. So this was a very good month for me, I think. So yeah, that is all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming and spending some time. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever. Yeah, that's it for me. How do we like this? Do we like this? There's gonna be more stuff here, I promise. Bye guys. Like, subscribe, comment what you read in January, if you read any of these books, or if you have recommendations or anything. Let's chit chat, let's kiki. So bye.